Hello, folks, and welcome to I wouldn't say conference. It was more a sit-downy chat thing. It was a PC gaming show. I am also joined by Morph Shuffle. We're being a bit quieter because it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's really late in the morning. We thought it was going to be a short one. It started at 2 a.m. It's like 20 to 5 now. So we've done a lot.
It didn't come across as a conference as such. It was more like a sit-down and chat, but there was some really good things in there for what they revealed, and there was some new tech and everything and all that jazz. And AMD was showing off their new beasts, so it was a pretty good thing to actually see.
It seemed like a chat show.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it. It was a chat show.
I don't think they really were marketing it as a sort of conference per se, but there was some nice wee things brought out. What we'll start with though is Killing Floor 2. It was the first one they started with, and to be honest, I love Killing Floor 2. There's a good amount of videos on my channel. I know Charlotte Shuffle loves it. You need to get it, Morph.
I will be getting it.
When you paid.
Alright, if I'm paid, I'll get it.
Basically, the developer who was out for Tripwire Interactive was showing off the new Gore-Tech. They're implementing in some of the new guns that's going to be in, because it is in early access on Steam currently. And the new Gore-Tech looks terrifying, to be honest. It was already, because there's I think it's, I can't remember what map it is actually. There's the map that me and Sherlock always go on, and you can go in this sort of upper area and seal off some doors, and there's a corridor that kind of come up some stairs, and you blow out the lights and everything, which turns into like a bloodbath in there. And there's just, the walls are just painted with blood. So much painted with blood. And the new Gore-Tech is just like, when he's saying, blood swimming on top of each other, I'm like, that hallway is going to be terrifying. Because you go down it with a torch, you're just like, oh dear.
Oh dear, so much blood, so much blood.
What did you make of the new Gore-Tech?
I just love that fact. I love the fact that it's going to make it so much more dirty and so much more gritty. And I'm just going to say, there's nothing wrong with early access games. They're amazing. I love them.
When early access is done right, the only thing is that it's kind of brought a lot of myth to it in certain areas, but there's a lot of sort of gold gems in there to get stuck into.
Like Killing Floor. Killing Floor looks amazing. I've just not got around to buying it yet.
It is really ridiculous, although you'll just notice you'll do like 3 matches, and then the next thing it's like, where'd the last 3 hours go?
Immersion games, yay.
They also did say they'll be carrying over stats in the update sort of thing, which is really welcoming, because it does take a bit to get them. I don't know if they might tweak that. I think I'm at level 11, 12 on having my support, because shotguns rule.
Shotguns are one of the more favoured zombie killing weapons in the
and
years.
They did show off the lovely rocket launcher.
I like things that make you go boom.
But yeah, they started off with that, but I think it was a strong start because Tripwire Interactive are really cool. They also announced a new title, Rising Storm, which looks fantastic as well. And they've all been a pretty darn good sort of PC developer in that sense, since the very early days, really. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else they'll bring to the table.
They'll bring something fancy. I've got a funny feeling they've got something up their sleeve that's going to just be amazing. It's going to be like a killer for the industry, because they're going to just be the ones with it, and they've done it right.
Well, the engine they have is freaking awesome. Folks, I just want to make you aware, we won't be covering everything because it was 2.5 hours long. There's stuff in it, obviously it was by PC Gamer. They'll likely have the sort of rebroadcast of it up and everything. If you want to see, because we'll at least be covering things that kind of, like the other ones we liked. Maybe a major disappointment, major upper point. And there wasn't really anything that really disappointed me. It was all sort of like, level-headed. There's a lot coming to PC, and there's a lot on PC, because there was Elite Dangerous, which looks insane.
I just remember you popping up being like, I need Elite Dangerous. I need it in my life.
But they also announced, was it Planet Coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, Planet Coaster, which is like, it looks like, the advert made it look like Roller Coaster Tycoon. But
if that's done right, that can do really well.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. But another big title that did decide to come out to talk about was Deus Ex Mankind Divided. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, haven't we?
Yes, how amazing it looks, but then again, it's now being shown on what it would be for a PC, which is 10 times better. As a minimum, 10 times.
Basically, the developers brought some sort of demo, some tech to actually show what the game looks like, what they've added, and how it was built and everything. There's just a lot more in the environment, so there's a lot more you can do. There's a lot more sort of systems in the background. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I really can't wait till early 2016. Give me now.
It'll go past quick. It'll go past quick. Don't worry. There's loads more games in between now and then.
We got a good few. Just Cause 3, Fallout 4.
And some of the games that were announced on the PC one, I'm looking forward to, but I won't mention them just yet.
Well, I'll let you mention one of them now.
One of them. Oh, I only get to choose one.
Yes.
I don't know which one's going to come out soonest, but in fact, no. Screw it, I'm going to go with Gears Remastered on the PC.
Yes. Anyone who was happy about seeing the Gears 1, 2, and 3. Wait, does it include Judgment though? Or was
Judgment
it just
doesn't
1, 2?
count. We've already been through this.
Basically, the Gears of War Ultimate Edition that was coming to Xbox One is actually making its way to PC, which probably begs the question of if 4 will make its way. But also cements the idea, because it was Phil Spencer that came out, then the developers have joined them. So it kind of cements the idea that the Xbox is starting to take PC a bit more seriously. But
No,
I'm wondering
about 2 decades too late.
I am wondering where this is kind of going to go. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing a co-op with Morph, just so you know. He'll be teaching me because I don't know bugger all.
As long as I'm Dom, I don't care.
He can be dumb.
Yeah. That means you have to host every match.
So
Just saying.
we're looking forward to that. I hope it doesn't do, because they have got rid of games for Windows Live. So I'm curious to what they're going to do.
They'll probably come up with something new, or they might. I'm going to throw it out here. They might go through Steam.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, Windows 10 is meant to have like an app store though.
Oh. Then they might realise that Steam is the way forward.
Might
Yeah, it might.
be in the keyword in that.
Well, it's taken them this long to realise that PC gaming is the way forward. Maybe they'll realise that Steam is the way forward. Lord Gabe. Who knows?
Yeah, we're not even going to be near the end of the video before we even say this, but the big surprise of me, Gabe, no Valve, no nothing.
Yeah.
Which seems really weird, like a PC gaming orientated show, big audience.
And Steam and Valve not really
Nowhere.
mentioned.
Wasn't mentioned at all.
Well, there's some people like brushed up on it saying, oh yeah, you can get it on Steam now, we can pre-order it.
Yeah. Apart from that, there wasn't really, because what is Valve actually working on? I know people want to believe Half-Life 3, but I mean, there's no new Portal news, there's no new Left 4 Dead, no new IP, and no Half-Life.
I think Valve are gonna. I think they're working on something a bit more secret. I think I've got a really strong hope
I know they're doing a
and
lot of hardware.
suspicion. Yeah, they're doing that. But I've got a really strong hope and feeling they're gonna do a third. They're gonna finally be able to count to 3 on one thing, even if it.
Everybody thought it might happen this year because a lot of dreams came true.
Even if it's Portal 3, I don't care what 3 is. It could be the worst game they've ever done. If they just do a 3, I'd be so happy. I can't remember if they did. I can't remember if they did Half-Life Episode 3. They might have just done Episode 2.5. I actually can't remember if they're on 3. Someone will probably pick that up and comment down below, which will enlighten me. But it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm tired.
Yes, it's quite early actually. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to let you have another chance and see what the next game you want to talk about.
Something that I've loved since I was 10, after playing the tabletop game since I was 10, Total War Warhammer.
Yeah, this is what Sega also got with buying Relic. They also got the ability to be doing a lot more Warhammer stuff. Also, I don't know if this has happened down in England, but every Games Workshop up here has been rebranded.
I've not been up to my shopping centre in a while, so
The Games Workshop brand is now gone. It's now just Warhammer. Because it happened when I was in Edinburgh, and all the Glasgow stores have changed as well, and I'm like, So I don't know what they've done there, but it looks.
Games Workshop is still Games Workshop, Randy.
Yeah, I would see what the sign says outside though, because I think it's still known as Games Workshop. It's just they're doing something. But the Total War Warhammer, well, no, Total War's actually pretty brilliant. It has in the past released with some major bugs.
Yeah, but with this new one, with Total War Warhammer, they're bringing in flight combat, because some of the monsters that you can own, as in part of your army, range from dragons, griffins, things like that. So,
dragon.
Oh, there will be a dragon in there, definitely. It might be in future expansions, because from what I remember, the Empire doesn't have dragons. Neither do the orcs, because the orcs have ogres and I think bats. I want to say bats.
It'll be interesting to see how they actually balance it.
Oh, it will be hard.
But it's not really that long until we'll probably see more of it, though.
I don't think it will be hard for them to balance it, partly because they're taking the aspects of the Warhammer world, which is already balanced, because it's been a tabletop game for decades, and then they're just going to put it into PC format. So it will literally be similar, like this squad of guys does this amount of damage using the random generated roll.
It's going to be the Total War engine, though.
They'll have to take.
They're doing it just like Total War. They'll do something, but
they'll have to take from Games Workshop to get the generic stats. That's the only way I can see it happen.
Well, I have a feeling they'll do, because Total War games have normally released around the March window.
God, they ain't got long left, have they?
Yeah. So we'll probably see more, unless it's going to be the following year. Who knows? I mean, there was a lot of big sort of titles in there in this show. There was a lot of sort of smaller ones that we kind of piqued our interest. We're not really going to discuss them because we don't really have time, and plus we're sleepy.
Well, what's one that you want?
Blue Streak.
Yeah, Blue Streak. Yeah.
Cliffy B. Anyone that doesn't know who Cliff Bleszinski is, he did the Gears franchise, the Unreal franchise, and I'm sure is it Jazz the Rabbit.
He's done a lot.
He's did a lot of big franchises, and this is his sort of coming back to, and he's doing Blue Streak, and the game looks like, graphically, because you see some guns and sitting around, and I'm guessing it's like a walkthrough. It looks really awesome, and as he says, he's going back to FPS. He wants to do it in PC. Sounds like he wants to kind of try early access because he wants to iterate on it, sort of thing. Just have this sort of almost testing bench with people.
Yeah.
But he says, wants to go back to PC. Keyboard and mouse is the best for FPS. He never mentioned really console, if it would or wouldn't. Probably will eventually.
Yeah, but not for a while.
But it'll be good to get something out for the mastermind behind Unreal Tournament.
Yes, definitely. There's two games that I know. Well, one I really want, and two, the second one you really want, which probably were the main thing for us, because in this whole show, they just went back on other stuff that we've seen from other conferences, but they've just shown on what it looks like on the PC, which it looks amazing, as we expect it to.
Yeah.
Cleaner, faster, and smoother.
And some stuff is just PC only.
Yeah. And I think the best thing that we both agree on is they both came from the same company, the same studio of Blizzard. My one was Heroes of the Storm Eternal Conflict, which is the expansion for Heroes of the Storm.
Didn't it just release this month? It's out better at the beginning of this month. And then they have an expansion coming at the end of the month.
I think it's a good bet though, because what they were planning on doing, basically bringing a new hero in every other week or something like that. They've just released Kel'Thuzad. So I'm kind of not pronouncing
the big skull guy.
No, Kel'Thuzad is blood elf leader who went corrupt and went mad, but I can't pronounce his name. No, he's not. No, blood. He's not even Kel'Thuzad. Oh my god.
The point in the video where Morph tries to pronounce a name and doesn't.
It's Kel.
I like
You know,
Luca Blizzard. Blizzard
Sunstrider.
Heroes, I almost said.
I'm
This
gonna
is
call
what
him that one.
happens. This is what happens earlier, where you say Blizzard Heroes instead of like Heroes of the Storm. That was because they mentioned that down.
Blizzard.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
said
they
that.
said-
It's like before it's known in the office as Blizzard's Heroes or something like that.
That's what they call. That's what they called it. Like I think that's what they were calling it, or everyone was calling it when it first came out. But they're just bringing out heroes every now and then. I think the fact that they're bringing out a expansion pack isn't the worst thing they could do. It's probably one of the better things they could do.
Yeah, Blizzard normally does good things. They just do it in Blizzard time. Not as bad as Valve.
Well, you say they do good things. Mr. Pandaria and Cataclysm end content was shocking. Other than that, it's good.
I don't care about Warcraft.
Yes, you care for StarCraft.
Yes, this brings us on to our next title. Is Legacy
You
of
wanted
the
that
Void
segue.
is actually getting a prequel of free missions that you can gain access to if you pre-order, or gain access to earlier if you pre-order Legacy of the Void, but you will get access to them. Like everybody, whether they've bought a game or not, will actually gain access to them when they're fully released. It's a link between what happened after I've forgotten the names of StarCraft 2 games now. Balls. Second one.
Heart of the Swarm.
Yes, it's a link between Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of Void. Free missions taking on when you're taking the Protoss of what happened to him. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Someone will probably mention it somewhere. And
Give us a C or something like that.
they did actually say about the whole they have two teams
Zarathos.
working. That was it.
Is it Zarathos?
Something around that. They did say they had two teams working together, or working sort of hand in hand. One's doing the multiplayer, one's doing the single player. And StarCraft 2 has a freaking phenomenal campaign. You have the cinematics, and the game looks really good. And I'm a big RTS fan. The game just looks so good to play, and there's just so much strategy involved, and you get a good lengthy story as well. It's not like, oh, here's 3 missions and that's it. Although a lot of RTS seem to be returning to it. I mean, we did have like Grey Goo this year. We had a lengthy one, which was phenomenal. Actually released some extra missions. Had Homeworld, which was a remaster, but the Gearbox have actually released some extra content, new sort of custom stories as well. And then you have like StarCraft 2 kind of does have a, like, because I think Heart of the Swarm had like 18 missions or something in the real, and some of them were like a good hour and a half long. Like they weren't easy either.
No, they are probably some of the hardest levels.
And but it was good to see that. What I want to divert to though is you know how we did mention the Gears of War stuff.
Oh yes.
That wasn't the only stuff coming, because during the Xbox conference there was Gigantic and what was the other one?
No, we even talked about it earlier.
There's a good few other titles. Gigantic though has been announced that it's coming to PC. Killer Instinct.
Yes, Killer Instinct is basically being given to the PC. It's like, here guys, have this.
Yeah,
Here's a
PC
remastered version.
PC is getting Killer Instinct, but it'll be like crossplay between Xbox One.
See, I said ages ago that they should do, they should have the ability where you have Xbox and PC playing together, even if it's just for a little bit, or if it's like they're helping out a little bit hand in hand, that sort of thing. Just the ability where you can be sat on your Xbox, I can be sat on a PC, and we can both be playing the same game at the same time together.
See, I mind,
That's what I want.
like, it's always been tried, and like I know a couple of years ago when CS:GO came out, it was meant to be playable between PS4 and PC, and I think it was just ended up just not working. Did I say PS4? Meant PS3.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's fine. Everyone knows what you meant.
Before anybody corrects me.
Kind of.
But then that's really what we had going on. I mean, there seems to be things that are coming across that were later, but a lot of, I mean, that's a Microsoft property, and we did have a lot of the third parties that were exclusive to Xbox One ending up coming over to PC. So it'll be interesting to see where this line goes. I mean, like, because Windows 10, I think, is opening up this new sort of door, but they need to tread carefully so they don't fracture one or the other.
I've still not got my freebie, which annoys me.
What I found interesting though is how you could really tell, because it was Day 9 it was presenter, how you could tell that he was putting pressure on Phil Spencer, and it felt like Phil Spencer wanted to spill more beans but couldn't.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to say a certain franchise is coming to the PC.
How did you say what he was?
I wanted him to say Halo. I needed him to say Halo.
Phil Spencer did look like he was wanting to, but I myself feel like it would butcher the release coming up. I really do feel like they're cut because it's coming out in a couple of months' time.
He'll probably wait till after Halo 5 comes
I
out
mean,
and he'll be like, oh yeah.
I say 6 months at max. I'll be like, right, Halo's coming to Windows 10. There you go.
The thing is, if he did announce that, I would have literally lost my shit. I would have been so loud and so cheering that I would have had my brother come in and be like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm excited.
Come up for work soon, damn it.
I'm excited for Halo coming to this. He looked like he was going to mouth Halo. That's how close it was.
Yeah, he did honestly look like he was about to burst in one way or another, but it's nice to see some things like that. Well, I think we went on to some other smaller games again, because we did have Elite Dangerous, like I said. I love how to say smaller games. Elite Dangerous isn't small. We do have Star Citizen was there, but I don't know, I've never really looked into Star Citizen that much. It just seems like it's a big budget thing that I just wouldn't have any interest in. Which sounds odd, but I mean, they were just showing off some tech and stuff, to be honest. That's what I saw.
Some of the tech that was shown. It wasn't just PC games, it was PC tech as well.
Yeah.
The dual Fuji quad-core
AMD
processor.
decided to come on with some new gadgetry and kept some stuff because they released 9 different cards earlier, and they decided to keep some for the actual show, and they would have a dual Fuji Fury X or something like that. Forgive me if I'm saying all this wrong because it is fairly late/early. And then they had one card that was like tiny, and they were like, yeah, this is 4K and all that jazz. I'm like,
It's 6 inches long.
it was tiny for a graphics card. Anyone who's got a fairly mid to top tier sort of graphics card knows the sizes they can get, even from past times. If you're buying them from a couple of generations ago, they're pretty darn big. Graphics cards.
6 inches is tiny.
Anyone who's a console gamer listens to this, wondering, what are these guys talking about? If you have a PS4, imagine from the back to the front and about halfway along. That's a graphics card.
Well, my one's that big anyway. my one's pretty much the same size as my tablet.
They are pretty big, but they have a lot
tablet.
of power in them.
Yeah.
I think because we have a lot of that, and they showed off, talked about some new technologies that were coming. They're talking about how DirectX 12 allows for a lot more to go on, and how much easier it makes devs games. I believe DirectX 12 will actually usher in some good things. And Phil Spencer did himself talk about how Windows 10, the reason why they made it, or one of the reasons, we know a certain other reason, because Windows 8 is terrible. So Windows 10, if it's free for everyone in sort of 7 and 8, then that's a huge chunk that developers then can go, well, we can develop games for this with easy access to Direct 12. Because I believe this generation of graphics cards, NVIDIA's and AMD's, because I've got a 290, I think it's 290 S2, I don't actually know. I don't know what card you've got currently.
I just remember it's ASUS, however you pronounce that goddamn word.
Which one?
I can't remember.
I think because that generation does have, it's able to upgrade to DirectX 12.
It just says DirectCU 2 on it.
Whereas the next cards, like the AMD's 300 series and whatever NVIDIA pumps out, will be purposely built for DirectX 12 only, I think it is, sort of thing. Maybe. Well, that's kind of the gist I got from it. But there was some nice cards on display. You can actually, PC Gamer was the ones hosting the event, you can actually win your gaming rig. Me and Morph may have entered.
Already entered it, yeah. Definitely entered it.
It was nice, and they showed off the dual GPU thing, which was tiny, but I'm assuming it's obviously going to have either a water cooler or a aftermarket cooler or something on it.
It'll have something.
because it was just the 2 GPUs, and it was like, and I
Well,
looked up-
they did say it had some like really fancy like cooling kit. The way it was designed, it was a cooling kit in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at some of the like stats on the thing. The thing's powerful. They actually said it's like 2 times as fast as Nvidia's top tier Titan, but like less money.
I like that. It's twice as powerful, but it'll cost you less. Like, yes, you're speaking my language now.
See, a lot of people turn around like, but AMD drivers. I'm sorry, but that argument is false these days, because AMD's drivers are actually pretty darn good compared to Nvidia's nowadays.
They've got a lot better.
The cars just fight each other, and it's a good thing. You know, provides
Well,
good-
Nvidia have got worse. I'm not sure yet.
I don't think they have. I think they're just not as focused on the sort of graphics card. They do have graphics cards come out, but they're just too focused on, you know, here's different hardware stuff that doesn't really have a mass market appeal. Like, the Nvidia Shield only works if you have a Nvidia card,
Yeah, it's true.
which might be good. It's good for Nvidia owners, but what about, it's like, well, I want to try that. I'll buy a Nvidia card. What?
I
Seems
don't
a
want to
bit
buy
pointless.
an Nvidia card. If you give me a free Nvidia card, then yeah, I'll have it.
But there was some nice hardware things. There was wee subtle console things.
Oh, there was so many of them.
Just like when the first AMD guy was out and he was talking about how he was just like, oh, you know, half a second sort of thing. It was like, well, console gamers don't really care, but PC gamers do. And it was like, oh, shots fired.
It's because console gamers don't notice anything that lasts for 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's basically because I think it's where PC gamers, because they sit closer to a monitor than console gamers sit further away from TV. That's more, well, the belief anyway. That's what I do. If I'm playing my console, I'm usually sitting way back because you have a bigger TV, whereas my monitor is sort of about a foot, I don't know, maybe a foot away, like that. There's several foot between me and the TV. So I believe that's kind of where that's coming from, but it's true. PC gamers notice more.
We do.
I'm not trying to say the PC Master Race hashtag, but we do notice more. I've even noticed, like, as more games are allowing 60 FPS, and you watch it on YouTube and everything, it's a lot quicker, a lot smoother, and you notice it when you're playing it now. Like, I start to notice, like, I've had play 30 FPS, I notice the difference now really badly. Like, I'm just like, this feels sluggish, it feels slower. It was obviously slower. But if a game's built just right, you won't notice it as much. Like consoles, because they're sitting further back, you don't really notice it in them. But see, if you're playing that on PC and it's like between 30 and 60, you notice it really badly.
You do. Monumentally.
Like we said further back in the video, Gabe didn't show up, Valve didn't announce anything, which was really odd. Really odd. But they did finish off with none other than No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I wasn't keen on that.
No?
No, it's
I think you need
not.
to see more.
Yeah, I only saw a little bit, so I'm just like,
Last year and this year have been shown during Sony's conference, and it's had a pretty big push. The studio only has 10 employees, I think, and after the Sony's conference, they actually, not this year obviously, but last year, the studio was flooded. They lost all their equipment, sort of thing. They did have backup files and all that, and then Sony did actually jump in and help out a bit there, but it was somewhat announced. It was kind of like always new, sort of known that it was going to come to PC.
eventually.
Yeah, but they did actually say, you know, the release date will be coming very soon, but it's coming to PS4 and PC. There's no mention of Xbox One, which is strange. Because I'm wondering, like, I know Microsoft has always had this thing, if it's not on Xbox One or Xbox first, you don't get it to put it on another platform. You need to release it simultaneously or on them first to put it on another platform. If you release it on PS4 first, you don't allow it, but I don't know if they've eased off in that. I know it's a bit fickle.
I think they might have eased off on it for the fact that it could still build a hype.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I like No Man's Sky, like, because you can, like, during the PS4 conference, they did show, like, you know, jump into a spaceship, you can take on in dogfights or whatever, then you can just zoom out in the universe. There's billions of planets, you can just go to, and then you can just warp to it, and then go down, land on the planet, explore it, and it'll be vastly different from the planet you're just on. And I just love that, and just seeing some gameplay in the game. It's went for this, I almost say neon colored sort of palette. I say colored, Jesus.
Colour.
Yeah,
Colour
this is
blue.
what happens when you try to record something early in the morning. And but I love it. I just really want it to release. I don't see it till it release next year, but well. So
See what happens.
we're gonna round this video up because it's went on long enough. Probably it's probably gonna be the longest video, or at least second longest, because I know one just lasted about 30 minutes before. But what was your moment, game, sort of thing of the show?
Sorry, got on that one back. Oh, it's got to be the Gears. It's got to be the Gears collection.
You do
'Cause
seem
I
fairly
love
happy with
Gears.
that.
I'm very happy about that.
Do you see it doing well?
Oh yeah. I know there's a fair few people that will see that and just be like, I'm so glad that I still have the ability to play this. Because like,
Yeah.
I know some people who literally have got their Xbox just to play Gears 1, 2 and 3. They
There
still
is-
love playing that.
Because it's coming like 60 FPS, 4K resolution sort of thing, so there's a lot in it. I want to play it, and I did try to play First Gears on PC, but it had a problem with Xfire and kept crashing and bugging for no reason at all. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing the co-op with you. Looking forward
Yep.
to that. A lot of people, I did see some comments though. People were like, "Why would you do this? It's meant to be on Xbox only. Why would you call it an Xbox exclusive or a console exclusive?" It's like, there's a reason why I say console exclusive, because it
Yeah.
is console exclusive. It's not on
But
the
it's
PS4.
still coming to the
PC.
PC.
Mine would probably just be literally seeing more Deus Ex. I could see more of that game forever. I could see more when it's released. I'd still be happy. I loved the first. I loved how it looked. I loved what you could do. I loved the world you just developed in. I loved the characters. I mean, I love the voice actor that does Adam Jensen's voice. It's just really, you just hear the voice and you're like, yes. It's superb.
It's like, it's him.
Definitely can't wait to see more of that. And as they've announced, it's coming out early 2016. I hope it sticks to that, really do. I hope it's not buggy. The other one wasn't buggy in any sense, to be honest, apart from the few hiccups, but I really can't wait for it. But that was my sort of game of the show, and this will probably be the
Yes.
last conferencey video, guys, of E3 2015. There might be a roundup video, we don't know yet. We're going to see about that. But this has been...
That's how we feel.
This has been a long video, Morph. Thank you again. You've joined me for most of them, apart from, I think, Sony and EA.
Yeah, because I've got bad blood with EA and I'm not a massive fan of Sony.
Don't go and watch the EA one. I wasn't very happy. And it's a shorter video because there was only like maybe 2 things in the conference. It got a bit too sportsy, that was for sure.
Yeah, obviously it's EA.
I don't really have interest in that, but the games they're showing didn't interest me. Not saying they're bad games, they just don't interest me.
No, you're not going to be one of those guys. You know, those pessimistic ones who, yeah, no one's.
Anyway, folks, we have been Fraz, this has been Morph. Thank you again for tuning in, and we shall see you in the next one.
We shall indeed.